UK.
Face to face with my conscience. 3rd, coming to understand
2024.
Clear out all the old cobwebs.
Coco with the Cops Day. If it's 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, it's time for This Week in Waukesha on WAUK 101.1 FM, 540 AM on Civic Media, The Shaw. I'm your host, Don Brown, and I'm joined by Johnny on the board, my producer, and we're coming to you live and local from the office of former Alderman Don Paul Brown here in the Walk Radio Studios, right around the corner from Theodora Youmans Park, where we are proud to honor our suffragette heritage here in the Shaw. And speaking of which, we welcome those listeners from Bettendorf, Iowa, where our Waukesha ESA suffragettes U14 prospect softball team are competing in a weekend tourney indoors. Congrats on their 8-3 triumph last night over the Quad City Firebirds. And today's show is chock-filled with great local news, local sports, local culture, and so much more. We start with today's guest, Kenny Maciejewski, a talented musician whose band, the Black and Blue Hearts, have released a new single, which we'll be hearing later on in the show. He'll be with us the entire show, and his daughter Cora is here in studio. We may get her to participate. We'll see. And so we're going to talk about Waukesha's guitar tradition that Kenny's a big part of, as well as what we can do to further promote Guitar Town USA, the home of Les Paul, possible Les Paul Guitar Festival, maybe in the summer. Hey, we're also going to have local some updates on local sports from our 3 public high schools. It's been a very busy crosstown rivalry week with a lot of exciting moments, as well as some teams from different schools advancing to state competition. And then we'll have our Carol moment with more great news from the 20th ranked team in the nation, the Pioneer Women's team. And 2 of my favorite alumni welcomed to the world, Carroll University's first member of the class of 2046. So, and then we'll also be celebrating 2 special Waukesha South black shirts, one a distinguished young woman, and the other a distinguished 42-year-old alumnus whose jersey number 42 will be retired this Tuesday night at 6:30 before the Black Shirts take on CMH at home. And then Alder Alicia Halbin-Slavin will pop in for 5 minutes. I promised her just be 5 minutes to talk city legislative news. And I'll be sharing some of my own city news through my source in the mayor's office throughout this show. So it's going to be a very busy day and so much for you to keep up on. And first and foremost, before we bring Kenny in, Coco with the Cops today, February 3rd. Stop by the Steaming Cup in downtown Waukesha from 10 to 12 to say hello to some of our Waukesha police officers. You can enjoy free Coco. You can receive some police department goodies and learn more about the police department. So be sure to put that on your calendar. Maybe Johnny and I will run over there after the show and meet up. So we also have the Winter Farmers Market this morning. It's taking place right after my show, too, at Chef Pam. So Main Street's going to be jumping today. So cop lovers, and farmers market aficionados. So Ken Maciejewski and I, Kenny, we go back a long way. 2004, when I was working with a company, I was launching a new trade show in Rosemont for the packaging services industry, and Ken was with Opportunity Inc., and then got to know Kenny well. He grew up in the Detroit area, Hamtramck, affectionately known as Poletown. Yep.
Yeah.
Moved here in high school. You said, is that right?
Middle school, yeah.
Middle school, okay. Yeah. And then where'd you go to high school?
I went to St. Lawrence Seminary up in Mount Calvary, Wisconsin.
Nice. That's right. With Alonzo Kelly.
East side of Lake Winnebago with Alonzo Kelly. From the area here.
Oh, that's great.
Speaker. Yeah.
Sure.
I've known Alonzo since I was in 2nd grade.
Isn't that something?
It is. Small world.
Sure. So Kenny, he's a transplant like myself from the eastern part of the Great Lakes region. And now we are, and you've been a resident of Waukesha for how many years?
Going on 17 now, I think.
17, yeah. And mine is 14. We moved in on leap year, so maybe, I don't know how we count the anniversary. Yeah, we have a leap year day. We have a February 29th this year. So I wonder how we count that. But so you also, when you started a ska festival in Appleton, ska, and is that still going on, or it came back, you said?
Yeah, so that's an interesting story, but really briefly, it was actually started by Lawrence University.
Okay.
And then, long story, they ran it for several years, and I helped them with running it for several years.
Okay.
And so they made a bad decision one year when I wasn't helping them to put a band up in a hotel that destroyed it. And so the university kind of put the kibosh on it and said, we're not doing it anymore.
Sure.
It's called Scalpleton.
Wow.
Up in Appleton. So
Yeah.
ska in Appleton.
Ska, yeah.
Good old pun there.
Sure.
Yeah, and we ended up running it for several years, and they kind of petered out for a while there. And then some guy called me up last year and said we want to bring it back. And
Nice.
So,
when does that take place?
it's usually around Mother's Day weekend.
Okay.
So yeah, it's going to take place this year. I'm not going to remember the date off the top of my head, but
That's okay.
Right around Mother's Day weekend, Appleton, Wisconsin.
Sure.
I'll be playing up there on Friday night for the pre-show.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's a great festival, and definitely recommend checking it out.
Nice.
It's Appleton Beer Factory,
Okay.
I think, is the venue now.
Well, no, I appreciate that background. But I know the main reason here is to talk about your band, the Black and Blue Hearts. What are they all about?
Yeah, so really the Black and Blue Hearts I was in a band called Something to Do. They're from the Milwaukee area here.
Okay.
Was in it for 15 years. Great
Wow.
band. They're still a band.
Sure.
And great band. Go see them. Very high energy. Really
Right.
great ska band. And we played all over the place. So I was working all week. I was getting in a van. I was going to Chicago on Friday night, going to Ann Arbor, Michigan on Saturday night.
Ace
whatever.
Squared. Yeah.
We're going all over the place.
Sure.
And then I was coming home on Sunday morning, and my wife would call me. I'd get in at 7 a.m. after not sleeping all week, and then she'd say, "Hey, the kids are up." And
Yeah.
so, long story short, I fell asleep standing up in church one weekend and thought, you know what? Like, I'm probably running myself a little too ragged here.
Sure.
And so, anyway, got out of that band for several years and needed to find myself musically, and I kept writing music,
Okay.
and eventually said, I got to do something with this music. I got to put it out. And so I created the Black and Blue Hearts as really the project under which I'm putting out original music.
Nice. Okay.
And the Black and Blue Hearts right now is just me. So
Nice.
I am
a
the Black
one-man
and Blue
band.
Hearts. I'm a one-man band. Yeah.
Like the guy from the what's it?
Yeah.
Matt Johnson, I think his name was. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
It may have band members at some point, but for now, this is how I put out original music these days.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's how long have the Black and Blue Hearts been around?
So I created the project probably about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
So probably right around the time the parade thing happened here is a little bit before that.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And so if you need band members, I could be a stand-in, play some air guitar, right? Since you're doing all the
Yeah, you'll
Definitely.
be the lead air guitar player, Don.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. So, but yeah, because now, what would you say the genre is of Black and Blue Hearts?
It's meant to be genreless.
Okay.
Is the whole point that I created it. The first couple songs I put out were in that punk rock kind of arena
Sure,
that
yeah.
I'm familiar with and comfortable
Yeah.
with. But this new song, which we're going to play a little bit later, is completely the other side of that spectrum.
Okay.
So, but my intention was because the music I write isn't in a genre anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm going genreless.
Sure.
I'm non-genre
Yeah.
denominational.
Because I've listened to your song, which we're going to play later on in the show. You Had Other Plans, which
Yep.
I think is a great song. And to me, that sounds more like kind of like a folk rock or I don't want to say easy because it's not, because the lyrics are very profound. I like that. But it's because you said the other end of the spectrum. But I guess, yeah, because you were talking about punk and some of the edgier stuff.
Yeah.
This is a little bit more straightforward. Rhythm guitar, which I like.
Yeah, it's got acoustic
Right.
guitar in it. It's got the lead guitars are a little bit more, like you said, folky, country leaning, maybe.
Yeah, which I can dig. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
and it's very, very slow paced, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Punk
yeah.
rock stuff is fast. This
Sure.
song is the slowest song I think I've ever played in my life.
Okay.
So,
So, hey, no, but it's great. I said I
you.
can't wait to play it. Johnny's got it in the queue, but and I have a selfish agenda. Even though it's been great to reconnect. We've known each other so many years, and we don't get to see much of each other. But I do you like the Pogues?
the Pogues?
Yeah.
I like the Pogues. I'm going to admit,
not?
I've never spent a lot of time listening to them, but
so they're one of my
Yeah.
Shane McGowan who passed away like last November. Huge fan, but one of my little pet projects or I'd say pipe dreams was to start a dad band or like a Pogues cover band.
cool.
Call them the Lonesome Corncrakes, which is a line from one of my favorite songs, and either air band or real band. And that may be something you might be willing to help with, huh?
Maybe. Let's
And so
talk.
to be determined or to be discussed. So
Let's talk.
over a couple cold ones and some dinner, get the families together and reconnect some more.
Yeah, you bet.
That sounds great. Well, I appreciate you hearing me out there. So You had other plans. Are there other songs already in the queue that have been released, or is this kind of the first one of the new project?
So this is the first one that I put out on all the streaming platforms.
Okay.
The first two I just put out on my website. I put them there. I put them for free.
Sure.
My intention was for the first 2 songs from this thing to be free for life.
Okay.
Not that they won't show up on streaming platforms down the road, but this is the first one out on streaming. And I've got a queue of other ones that are lined up to be recorded in the near future.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you were pretty young when you moved here from Detroit. You said like second grade?
No, I met Alonzo in second grade.
That's right. You met Alonzo in second grade.
But
so
I moved,
middle school.
I moved here in middle
So
school.
you lived here long. You lived in Detroit long enough to really feel because that's a great music town. And I know that, growing up in Buffalo, great rock and roll tradition, and got exposed, and being the youngest in a big family, got exposed to a lot of great music. But when I went to school at Michigan State, a lot of guys, friends from Detroit, bringing in some new edgy stuff that weren't on my radar. And got exposed to a lot of great, and of course, a lot of great artists. Iggy Pop comes to mind right away. Bob Seger, who I love, a huge following in Buffalo for Bob Seger. Jack White.
Eminem,
Eminem.
Kid Rock.
Eminem, Kid Rock, yeah.
Madonna.
Yep. So Madonna, yeah. How can I forget?
The Jackson 5. All the Motown stuff.
Yeah, Motown, yeah.
So can I talk about that for a second?
Please, yeah.
Because really, a lot of my influence when I was young came from that. I remember one time my dad, a lady gave him an old record player, one of the ones you had to crank with your hands.
Sure.
But she also gave him a box, just a giant box of Motown singles.
Yeah.
And so as a kid, I spent a lot of time listening to those Motown singles. And so I think that had a lot of influence on me.
Oh, sure.
Musically, for sure.
My brother had the collection, The Story of Motown, and it had the great little narratives before each song.
Yeah.
And so I can recite them all, I think, from memory.
Yeah.
So.
And what soul was in that stuff,
Yeah.
Oh, it was just beautiful music, and
yep, no doubt.
Influenced me. And I do have actually a song I wrote about Detroit. It's called Take Me on a Tour of Detroit, which I'm going to be recording down the road too. So
yeah.
But Detroit's a different place now.
It sure is. Yeah. My God. The artist David Byrne.
Yep.
Took a bicycle tour through Detroit, and because when he goes wherever he goes, he goes on a bike tour, and he was describing just because the bones are still there to rebuild the city, but it got all cleaned out. The copper, the plumbing, the beautiful architectural work, just got raped and pillaged.
Yep.
And so it's kind of like Dresden for any Vonnegut fans or Atlantis. So, but
it is, and I'll tell you, I took these guys there a few years ago because I still have relatives that live north of Detroit in Port Huron, Michigan.
Sure.
And took these guys there a few years ago and drove them through, and I said, "So what do you guys think?" And they go, "Dad, this is the worst place you've ever brought us to."
Wow. Yeah. Hey, we're going to continue this great dialogue with Ken Maciejewski, and we're going to listen to his new song, "You Had Other Plans," and plus more. We're going to be diving into some local news tidbits. So much going on here in our exciting community this week in Waukesha.
Tech.
Any? Am I live? All right. Now I was looking for a musical lead-in. I didn't hear anything, so no worries, Johnny. Hey, this week in Waukesha continues with my guest, Kenny Maciejewski, and his band, his project, the Black and Blue Hearts. And are we able to play his song now, Johnny? You Had Other Plans? We're going to punch that in right now, if all goes well. Yes.
My plan was to be wealthy, but I'm not getting rich. My plan was to be healthy, but I've been getting sick. My plan was to own mansions by the water and the sand. My plan was to be famous, but you had other plans. My plan was to dress fancy, but the clothes just didn't fit. My plan was to have titles, but I didn't get the win. My plan was marry rich with a huge rock on my hand. My plan was to be ageless, but you had other plans. Didn't plan for office jobs, the cubes just aren't that big. I didn't plan for date nights or movies with the kids. I didn't plan for soccer or driving minivans. I thought my plan was perfect, but you had better plans. La, la.
That was You Had Other Plans, the Black and Blue Hearts. And not to be patronized, I think it's great. I love the guitar in that, too, especially those solos.
Cool, thanks.
Lyrics are fun, and that background lyrics at the end, too. A lot of fun. It's kind of reminds me of a lot of different bands that I like, and fun bands, too. Like, I think of Bare Naked Ladies, a little bit of Fountains of Wayne. Is that the name of the band?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. What was kind of hey, real quick, I apologize. I've had Greg Triple G been holding here. Let's see if we can plug him in here. We're learning this new phone technology. Greg, are you there? Greg, we got you. So I guess now we must have lost him, or I'm still trying to figure this out. Let's try it again. Greg. So
Triple G, Greg's the man.
Triple G, you know Greg.
I
That's
know
right.
Greg,
Yeah.
yeah.
So apologies, Greg. Send us a text to this number or to me or call my cell and I'll just put you on the mic. So, again, our apologies as we're tell you what's going on here. Civic Media is adding a lot of great new programming, really great stuff, and giving some prominent times during the week to some great programs like Busted Pencils. The pre-record comes on before my show now. And so because of that, we are shuffling producers and a little, Johnny's been filling in. So we, we're working through some kinks here on This Week in Waukesha, but apologies to Greg, but Greg knows he can reach me through other media, so we'll have him back on. And so tell us about the song, like what inspired you to put that together? I mean, it seems obvious. There's some great.
Yeah,
here's Triple G
Triple G,
now.
Greg. Let's pause
All
on
right,
that question for a minute.
All right, Greg, I'm going to hold you up to the mic so you can tell Ken your question.
Yeah, put him on speaker if you can. That might come through
here.
better.
Go ahead.
Hey, Kenny, how are you doing?
Greg, how you doing, man? Haven't talked to you in a while.
I know, it's been a while. Man. I'm here at Fox River Christian Church this morning for the No Regrets Men's Conference. But,
Oh, nice.
hey, real quick question. Actually asked to me last night by my friend Braden Schroeder. Braden's listening right now.
Braden Schrader.
Hey, Braden.
Dawn on the call of the Waukesha
He's
North.
my second half caller guy, yeah. Yep, for the basketball game. The North-South versus West game.
And so my question is this, Kenny, how far, and I'll listen on the recording, but how far away are we from a Guitar Town fest? This question was asked by Braden because we really need to have a fest, like a taste of Waukesha.
Same here, a Les Paul festival. Yep.
Where we have all sorts of stages and we call it like Guitar Town Fest or something. How
Sounds
far
great.
away do you think we are as a music community, Kenny.
So-
Because Waukesha is really
Yep.
the Nashville of the
So,
North.
for those of you listening at home, Greg's question is, how far away are we from a Guitar Town USA festival? Thanks for the call, Greg.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first let's talk about in terms of what do you call it? Making sure we name it appropriately, right? If something like
Sure.
that comes about, just so we don't get in trouble with the whole Guitar Town thing. But probably something of that
Well,
nature.
no, we
but-
are designated by Gibson Guitars
Yeah.
as one of 7 Guitar Town USAs. But yeah, we can
So
give it
maybe-
our own name.
maybe-
a Les
and maybe
Paul
we can use-
Festival or
But long story
Sure.
short, like I think we're too far away from it because this is an idea that I've talked about with a lot of folks in this town for a while. I've talked to
Me too.
My friend Ben Janzo, he teaches over here at Outpost Music, as well as Craig Bauman that owns Outpost Music, and said, there's a ton of talent in this town. This is a Guitar Town USA.
Yeah.
We should have a festival here, and and that I really got inspired. Kind of, I do sound for the Mile of Music Festival in Appleton.
Sure.
Which is very much that kind of multi-venue,
Yeah.
take over the city for a weekend kind of festival.
Sure.
And I think Waukesha is ripe for that type of thing. As long as the people are going to come out and support it, I think it should happen in Waukesha.
It really should, and I think we have the space to do some unique things, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a festival in the traditional sense where we need to set aside space and concerts. It can be, my inspiration is back in my grandmother's hometown in Ireland. They have what's called the Willie Clancy, and that's all people know it as, and it's an international festival. Well, it's a school of music, actually, that goes on for a week or 2 weeks, but in each little pub in the town, there's all these impromptu traditional sessions, and it's just amazing. It's just a really, and we could do something very similar to that, borrowing from the Willie Clancy. We're going to continue talking about this concept of a Guitar Town or a Les Paul festival with Greg Maciejewski, the Black and Blue Hearts. You just heard his single. You had other plans, and you can get it on Spotify. So the conversation continues here in This Week in Walkishah.
Talk about it. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. No, give it up. Share it out. Talk about it. Talk about it. Give it up. Share it out.
The song's called Give It Up.
Who you can, who you can. Talk about it. Talk about it.
Here we go.
My wife.
Okay. Do you know this song?
Les Paul, right?
Very well. Awesome.
Les Paul.
Great stuff. This Week in Waukesha continues, and I'm adding that to my permanent queue. It's The World is Waiting for the Sun to Rise with our own Les Paul and Mary Ford. And I dig that too. I love the guitar in that. How about you, Kenny?
Oh, I do. I love Les Paul. He's a hero of mine.
Yeah.
I actually have a picture of him and Mary Ford in my studio that I keep there just as an inspiration, like to
Okay.
remember the roots
Sure.
of Waukesha and Les Paul.
Yeah. And what's more impressive to me about Les Paul is I don't know if he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or not.
He is. He's one of the only people with a permanent exhibit in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
But I think it's a fraud that Warren Zevon has not been elected. And supposedly there's someone on the committee who was like an editor for Rolling Stone that just had a real whinge about him, and that he's the reason why he keeps getting nominated. And last year I thought for sure he was going to get it, but they gave it to Willie Nelson, which I love Willie Nelson. No, but he's not really rocking peripherally. Okay, rock, but a guy like Warren Zevon, who was a real rock and just contributed so much, not only his own hits, but his the songs that he wrote
Right.
for other artists. And but more impressive to me for Les Paul is that he's in the Inventors Hall of Fame.
Right.
So
Right. You think about Les Paul, a guy like Les Paul, like literally the song that you guys just played.
Yeah.
Like what I did there wouldn't be possible with, at least in the format it's in, without
Yeah.
Les Paul. Right.
yeah.
The electric guitar, the solid body electric
Yep.
guitar that was played on that song, the recording, the multi-track recording, like
Right.
like what an inspiration to be in the town where Les Paul is from, in Guitar Town, right?
Oh,
It's
sure.
exciting.
Yeah, one of our producers, Greg Bach, he's on Matt and Air on Air, and he also helps out with Up North News with Pat Kreitlow. And when Pat was here, he was out of our studio a few Fridays ago. He was here for the education conference, and we were talking about the Les Paul influence. And Greg chimed in that he sees a lot of similarities, or he compares Les Paul to, or I guess more accurately, or appropriately, he compares Eddie Van Halen to Les Paul because Les Paul did for guitarist what Eddie Van Halen did in his genre. There were certain things that people just didn't do or know how to do had it not been for Eddie Van Halen.
Right.
So I just thought that was a really interesting comparison, especially for us youngsters, that we weren't really alive to really know or appreciate Les Paul in his prime as an artist.
Right. But
So-
generationally, yeah, he's probably a parallel to Les Paul.
Yeah. So, but great stuff. And we were talking earlier about some more. We have so many mutual friends here. And one of them is the Waukesha South varsity basketball coach, Lee Montez.
Yeah.
And his wife, Michelle. How do you know Coach Montez again?
So Michelle and my wife Jen and I were all RAs together at UW Whitewater.
Wow.
Yeah, and we were really good friends back in the day. Matter of fact, my wife was with Michelle the day she met Lee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were out, at the bars, I think in Waukesha here.
At the bars, yeah.
Yeah,
The old-fashioned way of meeting somebody.
Right. They
Yeah.
didn't use an app.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we ended up, staying friends. We both moved to Waukesha. Michelle is my daughter Cora's here. I think you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Michelle is Cora's godmother, and
Sure.
I'm their son Braden's godfather. So I've known them for years.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We're all in each other's weddings, and yeah.
Well, and it's a good Lee. Lee Montez and the Black Shirts had a great week, and it was
did.
I don't know, it was kind of dumb luck. It's been described to me by West Athletic Director Kyle Lemieux. You had all these games bunched together. Tuesday night, South was playing at West. South beat West in a really exciting game. Several lead changes. South pulls it out by like 4 or 6 at the end. Wednesday night, North comes to Waukesha West. And that was like North had a 4-point lead with a minute left and ended up pulling it out, winning by 12. But the night before at the West South game, a lot of the North players were there to scout the game. And, a lot of these guys all grew up together. They went to the same middle school or they played in the same teams. And so there were some really cool post-game photos with North, South, and West guys together. And so that was really neat. But then Thursday night, North came to South. And this was a rematch because North had beaten South. It was a close first half, second half, or the wheels came off, and North kind of pulled away, won by double digits, and real tough loss for South. But South was winning. They were up by double digits in the late going, and with like a minute and a half left, they were up by 8. North brought it to 5, and then a missed free throw on a 1-on-1. Another 3 comes in, and now they're down by 2 point. Now they're down by 3. And Cooper Haas, who led all scorers on both teams from Waukesha North, the lefty, 30 points, including to tie it. The North has a chance to get a layup. They have a layup to win the game, but the center got called for traveling, and it was a good call. He definitely walked.
Took a
in my
couple
opinion.
steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So game goes to overtime, and South outscores North 15-9. But Cooper Haas down by 3, cans another 3 to tie it. And then South answered back with 3-pointers from Charlie Morose. And the diaper dandy, the freshman Jordan Garcia, canned a real gutsy 3. And South pulled it out again. Really amazing game. Zayas DeWalt, the general, as I call him, because he reminds me of Sherman Douglas of Syracuse fame. He had 21. He led all Black Shirts with 21 points. And then Charlie Morose had 12. And Evan Stout, my son, had 8, including 2 3-pointers. But just a fantastic game. And a fantastic week for these crosstown rivalries. And then it all kind of culminated last night. We were there broadcasting the game. Johnny was on the board. And the Waukesha West women's basketball team won an impressive 67-45 victory over the North-South combined team. Junior Jordan Fensky. If you can't get to see Caitlin Clark play live, the Iowa superstar, go see Jordan Fensky, the junior. She canned 30 points. Wow. 5 of them were 3-pointers. And then 12 are all, she was 100% from the free throw line. Might have missed one at the end when it didn't really matter. And she only scored 1 2-point basket, but she had 30. And these shots were from one of them was near the Wolverine logo near half court.
That's out there.
Yeah. And so, coaches on men's and women's, they kind of frown on that. But if you've got if you can can it from there, it creates a lot of problems for the defense. There's so much more space on the floor to cover, and then it creates other opportunities for other players. And as athletic director Kyle Lemieux, my halftime guest, had mentioned that creates. Jordan is very good at sharing the ball, and they pass the ball really well. And she ended up, I think she had quite a few assists setting up other players. She's on a lot of other teams. She'd be a forward, but she was handling a lot of the point guard duties, as tall as she is. But anyway, you got to love that. West kind of got their vindication there with a big win. And the last night too was their their benefit is Pink Night. I forget the official name, but they had a whole section in the front of the gym, tables of different raffles and gifts, and all proceeds went to benefit, the UW Cancer Center at Pro Health.
It's amazing.
And so I bought like a string of 12 raffle tickets for $10, and I go over to the big table with the flat screen, and like there's a massage, like really, like no, those are the red tickets. You're the white ticket. You're over there, in the ghetto or whatever, and I'm like, oh well, but but they had some really, in the other section they had some great gifts, and I go by at the end, and I end up winning it was from Waukesha State Bank. It was this gift basket that included 4 platinum tickets for Marcus Theaters and a gift card from Buffalo Wild Wings, as well as some other like little promotional items from the bank. But I was like, wow, that was great. I told my wife about it. It was out of town last night, and she was pleased to hear, because we like to go to a movie occasionally.
Yeah, that sounds like a good date night right there.
Yeah, there it is. Especially since we're still scrambling for Valentine's Day. Don't bother calling Tofty's Tables. I called like 2 weeks ago, and they're like, nope, I already booked. The whole week is booked.
That place is tough to get into. I love Tofty's.
In normal times, yeah.
My favorite restaurant, but every time I go to make a reservation there, there's none available.
I know. Yeah, it really is. But it is a fantastic place. And so look around for other good places. I wonder, People's Park might probably be booked now too. But yeah. So do you have your plans in place? No pressure.
Sakura is one of our favorites too.
Is that the new place in the Clark Hotel? Or no, that's
the Japanese restaurant.
Oh yeah,
on the side of the Clark Hotel,
yep.
I think is over there. Love that place.
Okay,
yeah,
haven't been there yet.
The host there, Jenny, is just the most friendly person.
Is that right?
Most friendly female in Waukesha, in my
nice.
opinion.
Okay,
yeah. So
yeah,
I recommend that one.
So we are in Banting Park. We're closer to the one we go to for sushi. Is in the Japanese steakhouse experience is the one near next to Home Depot. I always forget the name.
Yeah,
Texas Roadhouse is behind it.
Remember the name of that place? No, we like to go there though. They have good sushi.
They do a good job. Yeah, they're great carry out too. So yeah, excellent sushi.
Excellent.
So, but yes, make your all the guys out there start. I would take care of that today. Your Valentine's Day plans. So, but at least I got this little movie bet. Because if we don't get to see a great movie with the platinum seat, whatever that is, I don't know what that what that comes with. But,
got the seat that makes you feel like you're in the action, probably, right?
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, you're like dodging bullets and stuff.
Right.
So, real funny. So, in other sports, though, and again, so congrats to the West Women's. More from Waukesha West. The varsity boys bowling team punched their ticket to state this year. That happened this week. Hunter Singsheim, Ryan Vandenberg, Logan Lauterbach, Marshall Olsen, Jaron Eggers, Zach Johnson, and Troy Standarski worked hard all year. These boys took second place in their division, came close to making it to what's called a roll-off for first, but their fill percentage qualified them to make it to state. They are only 6 teams out of 24 teams in our district to make it, so congrats to them. That's fantastic. And then Logan Lauterbach also qualifies for state in the singles division. He finished 3rd out of 300 bowlers in the district. So Emily Suzik of CMH Co-op girls team also qualified for state in the girls singles division. She finished 6th out of 100 bowlers overall. So great job. And then we go to West Ski Team. They had an excellent race Thursday night at Heiliger-Hugel, if I pronounced that right. Heiliger-Hugel. Boys team placed 2nd with 4 top 10 finishes, including West skiers Jonas Siebert, 4th, and Ann Ping Enstrung, 9th. The girls varsity team placed 4th, lead by West's own Reese Swanson. Great job, skiers. And then I believe it was yesterday, the Wolverine State send-off. The West dance team is headed to La Crosse to compete in their D2 POM routine. Believe that's today. So best of luck to the Wolverine ladies POM team. So, and then coming back here closer to home, we mentioned Waukesha South's their sweep of the public school teams and the crosstown rivalry, beating West on Tuesday, and then Thursday night an amazing 78-72 overtime victory again. So congratulations to Kenny's good friend, Coach Lee Montez and the Black Shirts. And then what else are we missing here? I mentioned great highlights through that game. So the Black Shirts moved to 8-11 on the season, 3-9 in the Classic 8, and the North Stars moved to 7-11, 2-9 in the Classic 8. So, and then how we doing on time here, Johnny? Okay, good. So now your daughter Cora is here. She'll be going to West in the fall.
Correct.
And then your son Caden is it a junior or senior?
He's a junior at West, yeah.
He's a junior, and he's in the marching band, and Cora's expressed interest in going out for the marching band as well. So the music runs in the blood.
As a fact, Cora plays flute, and she's going to join the Waukesha West marching band this coming year, along with Caden. So we'll have 2 kids in the marching band, which will be exciting. And Cora is also in the choir at Butler Middle School.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So another singer too.
Yeah.
So terrific. What instruments do the kids play? Did I mention?
So my son Caden plays trombone.
Nice.
And he plays a handful of other related instruments like the euphonium, the marching baritone. I caught him playing percussion in one of the concerts earlier this year too. So
nice. So he can do it all. Yeah.
He kind of does bass trombone.
You got some in-house band members as the band grows, especially if you want to put like a soul or jazz element to it with the brass.
Right. Yeah. Caden's in the jazz band, and
nice.
They got a great jazz band over at Waukesha West. David Farmer, the director over there, is a jazz guy. I think he studied jazz for his master's degree.
Yeah.
So they're pretty jazzy over there.
Their singers did the national anthem last night.
Yeah.
We were able to catch it on the air, and it was fantastic. It was Craig Moore, I believe, is the director of that. But just I was really impressed with that. When you have solo, Cora Lears doing the national anthem, that's
a lot of talented kids over there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you ever caught. Last year there was a band from Waukesha West called Geology Club.
No, I like the name though.
Yeah, I recorded their album, which is also on Spotify. Yeah, it's a funny pun, right?
Sure, yeah.
But it was a group of juniors and seniors, and most of them graduated last year. But like, just great talented. They wrote all their own songs. They played well. I definitely check it out.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you learning it. So that's neat because I know South has a nice music tradition. Of North, of course, their marching band was a dynasty. It continues to be under the leadership of Tom Battersby and
Kristen Kudzowitz. Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of youth to tap into for this idea for a festival concept. So which we're going to continue talking more about that. We're going to make great plans here at the office of former Alderman Don Paul Brown. Plus, don't forget Alder Alicia Halbin-Slavin will be popping in at the 8:10 mark. And then some more special announcements, especially 2 distinguished Waukesha South black shirts, a student and an alumnus. So much more to talk about. We're really excited here. And who doesn't love Les Paul and this great jam here on This Week in Waukesha on sunny Saturday morning.
The world is waiting for the sunrise.
Sing it, Kenny.
Every little rosebud is covered with dew. And my heart is calling for you, the thrush on ice.
That is the Grassroots here on This Week in Waukesha with Sooner or Later, and can't get enough of that song, especially getting some feedback here, especially with Valentine's Day around the corner. Got to play some Grassroots. And I know we're fans. Still getting that Max Headroom going here. But a lot of fans of the series The Office. You ever watch that, Kenny?
I've never got into The Office, admittedly.
Me neither. That's what there are bits and pieces I've caught in the reruns, and I'll catch a lot on TikTok now. But there's a character named Creed Bratton who basically plays himself. And Creed Bratton was a member of the Grassroots.
You know that.
And the show went on. I think it's kind of a little joke they're playing everyone to see if people recognize who he was or what he. And so they describe his role as a loose biographical version of himself. And then when the show ended, the last show of the series, he did a little concert in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where the show takes place. And so, but I know you may not enjoy this in the radio, but I kind of like hearing my voice in this.
Right.
We might have to do a recording here, or make a little song.
Absolutely. You don't have your audio open on your laptop.
I do not.
I'm not sure where the delay's coming from.
I'll mute it from here just in case if it allows me. But
see if that helps at all.
I don't think I do. So yeah. So, but Johnny's working away at it. We'll get it figured out. And so bear with us here on this beautiful Saturday morning.
Now we're just going to sing some arena rock in here, Don.
Yeah, some arena rock. So Johnny's going to call it in. But, Kenny, with your experience, we might have to send you next door to see if you can
jump over into the booth.
So, but I think since we got this advanced audio or accelerated audio, we wanted to lead with talking about, in addition to the great guitar tradition here, the music tradition, there is a army or a full force of music educators here in Waukesha that you wanted to emphasize and talk about some specific people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think just at the school level, starting with the schools around here at Butler Middle School, who is your band teacher at Butler Middle School? I'm going to direct this to my daughter, Cora.
Mrs. Kudzowitz.
Kristen Kudzowitz.
Yeah.
And then who's your choir teacher?
Miss Schwingle.
Miss Schwingle. Miss Schwingle's also the choir director, I think, at Waukesha North as well. So, those are great. I mean, just in the schools, you got Tom Battersby, you mentioned earlier, who's the
At North,
the director at North.
We got to have him back in the show.
David Farmer, Mr. Zenz, who's the assistant director at North, as well as I think the Les Paul Middle School band director.
Okay.
And then over at South, I think it's still DeBrune.
I forget. It's a gentleman or a woman?
I thought it was a gentleman. But either way, so in the schools here, we've got phenomenal music educators. Like Waukesha West's marching band placed second in state this year. And those guys dedicate. Batters, all the cousins, they donate so much of their time to making those kids successful. So just want to call out those educators as phenomenal people here. If your kids are in the school system and want to get a music education, but also Outpost Music down the street here, we've got some phenomenal. If your kids want to learn the guitar, the trumpet, the piano, the drums, whatever.
So more than just a guitar, they can learn about other instruments.
Yeah. So Ben Janzo is probably the best guitar instructor in the area. I think half the kids in Waukesha have taken. He's in Dirty Boogie, the band there, and also plays as Ben Janzo. Marty Morgan, phenomenal drum instructor over there, and a great musician around town. Matter of fact, Waukesha West drum line took first place at state this year for drum line.
Wow.
And I know at least half of those kids all took lessons from him.
Okay.
Over there at Outpost Music. Caitlin Pico, vocal teacher over there. Actually, I take lessons from Caitlin Pico.
Okay. I've heard of her, yeah.
I recorded her album a few years ago. She performs in the area.
That's right. That's how I know her, yeah.
Yeah. She's phenomenal. And she's much younger than me, and she's taught me a lot about vocal stuff. I've probably taught her a lot about recording, hopefully.
Sure.
And then who else is over there? Craig Bauman, of course, that owns it. Donna, just great folks. So, and John, I always murder his last name. Seisko is her flute teacher over at Outpost. So
flute, nice.
Yeah. So whether you're in the school system or you're not in the school system, there's just great opportunities for these kids to learn from phenomenal musicians and teachers here in Waukesha. Is really the point I'm getting at.
Sure. So, no, great point.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Well, just as we're learning here, there's a demand for other people in the music trade, production, technology. Like there's a whole back of the house kind of element to it,
right?
Where there's opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you said you have a studio at your house that is BMB.
Yeah, I have a recording studio in my house, which was because it's kind of a dream of mine growing up. I was always fascinated with the audio side of things, in addition to the music side of things. I do some live sound work throughout the year as well. And but yeah, there's a demand, especially from females. And I'm going to encourage girls, if you're interested in audio, women, go out there and pursue it, because there's a real shortage of that in the industry. There's a shortage of people in general on that back end audio side, but we need you ladies in there too.
Yeah, I had the honor of working with Anya Anastasia here for probably almost a year, and now she's moving on to do greater things for Civic Media, Maggie Dawn Show, Busted Pencils. Maggie Dawn and she's still doing Joel Cleefish's show, who you're also good friends with there.
Yeah, I know Joel from my days at Opportunities Inc.
So yeah. Now speaking, we mentioned Opportunities Inc. that you do have a day job in addition to all the things you're doing with the music. You're currently with the Outlook Group.
Yep, which is based in Neenah, Wisconsin, actually.
Based in Neenah, yeah.
But I work from home here in Waukesha for the most part, or from the road.
Fantastic. And so are you doing business development for them?
Yep, doing business development for them. And we're in the packaging industry for people that don't know Outlook Group. Fox Valley's a ton of packaging businesses. But so Outlook Group's work is pretty much in your refrigerator and your pantry, guaranteed. The printed packaging on your labels, on your salad dressings, on your deli meats, on your milk jugs.
You think of Wisconsin, and there's America's Dairyland. You think of, but you don't think of America's Dairyland from the Fox Valley through to Milwaukee down to Chicago is America's printing digital the print corridor of America.
It is.
So much business takes place starting from the Fox all the way through to here, Milwaukee and Metro area, and Walkishah too is the printing tradition. And that seemed that doesn't get enough play. Milwaukee and Metro. And we figure too with the music, there might be a way to integrate that.
There might be, yeah. And people don't realize that we have such a packaging corridor, like you said before, here in Wisconsin.
Sounds great. Well, here in the office of former Alderman Don Paul Brown, Alder Alicia Halbin-Slavin has just walked in. She'll be joining us here in the second hour, plus some more news. We still have the Carroll Minute to do, and a lot, and then my own city news from my source in the mayor's office. So a lot of great things to unpack here, and the conversation continues with music aficionado and great talent, Kenny Maciejewski. Great to be reconnected with him after so many years here on This Week in Waukesha, where our mission here, just like it was when I was on the council, is to build a more connected community here in our university city. Our mission here, just like it was when I was on the council, is to build